Picture this. You're sitting in the familiar comfort of your favorite restaurant, surrounded by the aroma of mouth-watering dishes and the chatter of satisfied customers. But what if I told you that some of these iconic spots, the places where you've made memories with friends and family, might soon vanish forever? That's right. This year, a wave of closures is sweeping across the industry. And even the most famous restaurant chains aren't immune. From financial struggles to shifting customer preferences, these once thriving establishments are facing challenges they never saw coming. Could your favorite dining spot be on the chopping block? The reasons behind these shutdowns might surprise you, or even send a chill down your spine. Stick around as we reveal the jaw-dropping stories behind these 10 beloved restaurants and why they've been forced to close their doors. Trust us, by the end of this video, you'll never look at the restaurant industry the same way again. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to see is the dark side of the culinary world, and you won't want to miss a single moment. 1. Taco Bell battles to keep its crown amid crises. Once a fast food juggernaut, Taco Bell is now grappling with a storm of challenges that have left its future murky at best. The chain, long cherished for its affordable yet creative Mexican-inspired menu, is struggling to compete against brands like Chipotle and Cava, which are rebranding the concept of fast Mexican food with fresher, trendier offerings. With more consumers gravitating toward higher quality, customizable meals, Taco Bell's simplified, cost-focused model is losing its appeal. Adding to its woes, Taco Bell has seen a 7% year-over-year drop in sales per location. This is disastrous for any fast food chain, especially one that thrives on high customer volume. Even efforts to lure back customers with new menu items have failed to generate meaningful momentum. Market trends are shifting and Taco Bell is being outpaced. The financial pressures don't stop there. Beef prices have skyrocketed by 88.5%, leaving Taco Bell's popular value menu unsustainable. Imagine walking into Taco Bell for a $1 taco, only to now pay double or triple for the same thing. The very promise of affordable food, which has been Taco Bell's hallmark, is now under threat. Customer satisfaction is also at an all-time low. Scores have plummeted to 67%, far below the fast food average of 75%. Complaints about lackluster service, inconsistent quality, and menu changes might seem fixable, but the problem goes deeper. Even within its own walls, operations are broken. The introduction of digital kiosks, hailed as a step forward in modernization, has turned into a complete disaster. Glitches frustrate customers and employees alike, undermining the dining experience. Perhaps the most visible red flag is that 150 Taco Bell franchisees have filed for bankruptcy since 2022. When your franchise owners can't stay afloat, you're in real trouble. Financial analysts like Moody's have flagged Taco Bell's stability as concerning, casting doubt on whether the chain can weather rising costs and falling revenue without deep restructuring. The question haunting Taco Bell now isn't just how do we rebound, but can we survive at all? Arby's is straining under the weight of higher costs and lower foot traffic. Arby's, the self-proclaimed meat capital of fast food, is in no better shape. The once thriving chain is now burdened by insurmountable challenges that have driven costs up and customers away. The culprit? The sharp rise in beef prices over the last 2 years. Wholesale beef costs have climbed so much that Arby's has had to increase meal prices by 4%, leaving cost-conscious customers to flock to cheaper alternatives. For a chain that built its success on a beef-heavy menu, this is nothing short of a crisis. Yet rising prices are only part of Arby's problems. Chronic ingredient shortages have forced the chain to repeatedly cut menu items, leaving dissatisfied customers wondering why their favorites are suddenly unavailable. Imagine the outrage of visiting Arby's for their iconic roast beef sandwich, only to find it temporarily off the menu. Consumer loyalty in such scenarios takes a serious hit. Foot traffic, the lifeblood of any restaurant, has suffered a sharp 6.7% decline year over year. Fewer customers mean fewer sales, feeding into a vicious cycle that erodes revenues and forces further cost-cutting measures. Meanwhile, Arby's appears to be lagging when it comes to modernization. While competitors roll out sleek digital tech, Arby's has been criticized for its outdated stores and inability to adapt to changing customer preferences. The overarching issue, however, might be with its parent company, Inspire Brands. Overseeing several struggling chains simultaneously has sapped its resources and focus. Managing multiple crises across its portfolio has left Arby's without the investment it needs to innovate, rebrand, or even fix pressing operational issues. Time is running out, and without significant changes, Arby's risks losing its relevance in an already crowded fast food market. 3. Can Popeyes keep its crown in the chicken wars? Popeyes, once celebrated for igniting the famous chicken sandwich wars, is now on shakier ground than anyone could have anticipated. While competitors like Chick-fil-A thrive on superior service and steady expansion, Popeyes is faltering under the weight of its own issues. The chain's sales fell 5.2%, with foot traffic plummeting by a staggering 8.3% in 2024. For an industry dependent on customer volume, those numbers spell disaster. Even more troubling is the chain's inability to maintain consistency. Complaints about food quality and service are piling up. Customers often find themselves dealing with lukewarm meals, chaotic order management, and long wait times. For a brand that's become synonymous with its luxurious fried chicken sandwich, such slip-ups are unacceptable. The shine of Popeye's success has dulled, and competitors are using that as leverage to pull ahead. The financial strain is unrelenting. Poultry prices have jumped up by 133% since 2023, making it increasingly difficult for franchisees to operate profitably. Many franchise owners are buckling under these rising costs, and closures are rampant. Since 2022, over 200 Popeyes locations have shuttered, and an additional 150 closures are projected by 2025. It's a grim indicator of what the future might hold for this fan-favorite chain. Additionally, while Popeyes once dreamed of taking its iconic chicken global, its international expansion has been disappointing. Growth in overseas markets has been a mere 1% in 2024, proving that the chain hasn't been able to replicate its stateside success elsewhere. Meanwhile, Chick-fil-A continues to dominate by offering superior service and capturing new customers at record rates. To make matters worse, Popeye's operational struggles have left its image tarnished. Hungry customers are beginning to give up on the chain entirely, instead heading to competitors who deliver better quality and reliability. If Popeyes fails to turn things around fast, it risks losing its spot in the highly competitive chicken takeout landscape. 4. Jack in the Box faces an uphill battle for survival. Jack in the Box, a fast food staple known for its quirky advertising and vast menu, is facing a perilous moment in its history. At the heart of its crisis are skyrocketing beef prices. With beef costs rising by 88.5%, Jack in the Box's ability to deliver on fan favorites like burgers and tacos is severely impacted. Price-sensitive consumers who once turned to the chain for affordable indulgence are being priced out. The cost pressures have made it nearly impossible for the brand to maintain the competitive edge it once had. Foot traffic has plummeted by 9% year over year, compounding the issue. Unlike larger chains like McDonald's or Burger King, which have stronger brand equity and financial resources to absorb short-term losses, Jack in the Box is struggling to draw customers into its locations. This drop in traffic reflects changing consumer preferences and rising competition from fast casual brands offering fresher alternatives. What's more, the chain has been identified by Moody's Analytics as one of the top 10 U.S. restaurant chains at risk of bankruptcy. This is a glaring red flag that sends ripples of worry across franchise operators and employees nationwide. The competition isn't helping, with fast food titans like Wendy's and trendy fast casual chains like Shake Shack vying for the same customers. Jack in the Box, caught in the middle, is losing relevance. The next chapter for Jack in the Box is uncertain. Without meaningful reform and strategic pivots, the decades-old chain may become another casualty of an unforgiving industry. 5. Dairy Queen's sweet spot melts under economic pressure. Few brands have been as synonymous with desserts as Dairy Queen, but the ice cream giant now finds itself in troubled waters. Its heavy reliance on dessert sales, particularly ice cream, has turned into a liability as dairy prices rose by 12% this year. While inflation hits nearly every aspect of the economy, brands like Dairy Queen face an especially tough challenge when their main offering becomes prohibitively expensive to produce. The ripple effects are everywhere. Menu prices across Dairy Queen locations have increased by 15%. What was once the affordable go-to for blizzards and dilly bars is now steering customers toward alternatives like Culver's, which is successfully grabbing market share with superior quality and slightly more competitive pricing. The loyalty Dairy Queen once inspired in its fan base now appears shaken as families cut back on non-essential indulgences. The numbers paint a bleak picture. Same-store sales have fallen 7.9%, with rural locations suffering the most. It's evident that the economic fallout is hitting harder in less urbanized areas, where disposable income is tighter. The disparity between underperforming and successful locations has led to a grim prediction that 43% of underperforming stores may close by 2025. For a brand that prides itself on wide community reach and accessibility, this would mark a devastating contraction. To make a comeback, Dairy Queen will need to innovate outside its dessert stronghold. If it fails to offer a more diversified menu or address the financial stress its franchisees are experiencing, the iconic ice cream chain risks melting away entirely. 6. Checkers and Rally's struggles to stay in the fast lane. Checkers and Rally's, the well-loved drive-through chain, is in serious trouble. Known for delivering indulgent fast food classics like burgers and fries to a loyal customer base, the chain now faces mounting struggles that threaten its survival. Rising costs for key ingredients have hit hard. Beef, potatoes, and cooking oil have all seen sharp price increases with devastating repercussions. Same-store sales have tumbled by a staggering 12%, signaling that the traditional customer base is no longer showing up as it once did. Adding to these financial woes, Checkers and Rally's finds itself in a demographic crunch. The chain traditionally appeals to lower-income customers who are now scaling back on dining out altogether. Inflation has made eating out a luxury that fewer people can afford, and competitors like McDonald's, with broader operational efficiencies, are better equipped to weather the storm. For Checkers and Rally's, this shift is catastrophic. But it's not just economic factors dragging the chain down. Operational inefficiencies plague its locations, especially in its drive-thrus, where customers face frustratingly long wait times of over 5 minutes on average. What was once the brand's key selling point, convenience, is now alienating anyone looking for a quick, hassle-free experience. Meanwhile, in an industry that's increasingly moving toward digitalization, Checkers and Rally's lags embarrassingly behind. Digital sales accounted for only 8% of the chain's revenue in 2024, far below industry standards. For comparison, major chains like Starbucks and Domino's report significant portions of their revenue coming from online and app-based sales. The shrinking footprint further reflects the brand's dire state. Since 2022, nearly 150 locations have already closed, and projections indicate another 200 closures could be on the horizon by 2025. Such contraction underscores just how precarious the situation has become and raises questions about whether the brand can regain a foothold or will simply continue to fade away. Checkers and Rallies desperately needs a turnaround strategy. Whether that includes enhancing efficiency in its stores, restructuring to adapt to increased ingredient costs, or focusing on digital capability improvements, something must happen now. Without aggressive and immediate action, the once bold double drive-through concept may become a relic of the past. 7. Hardee's loses its grip in a shifting market. Hardee's, known for its satisfying burgers and breakfast biscuits, is caught in a downward spiral it can't seem to shake. Its same-store sales dropped by 10.4% in 2024, the worst decline the brand has experienced in over a decade. This alarming figure shows just how much Hardee's is struggling to retain its customer base, particularly in an increasingly crowded market. The skyrocketing cost of beef and labor in 2024 has further eroded profit margins for franchise operators, many of whom are already operating on thin margins. Beef prices have made even staple menu items economically unsustainable, while rising wages have ballooned operational costs. Hardee's franchisees, who bear the brunt of these pressures, are finding it nearly impossible to stay afloat. Hardee's position in the market presents another major challenge. Sandwiched between value-driven competitors like Wendy's, which dominates with promotions and meal deals, and premium burger chains like Five Guys, known for quality and customization, Hardee's no longer offers a distinctive value proposition. It's neither the cheapest nor the trendiest option, leaving it stuck in a no-man's land of fast food mediocrity. Attempts to rebrand or refresh its image haven't been effective, and, without a major shift, the chain risks becoming irrelevant. Without bold innovation or a targeted strategy to recapture its audience, Hardee's is at serious risk of losing its remaining foothold in the fast food market. Time is running out, and the clock is ticking faster than Hardee's leadership seems to realize. 8. Panera Bread's fresh image is stale and crumbling. Once viewed as the darling of fast casual dining, Panera Bread is facing an identity crisis that's cutting deep into its ability to attract and retain customers. The chain, which built its reputation on fresh, high-quality ingredients and a welcoming cafe ambiance, is struggling to keep pace in today's ultra-competitive dining market. A key issue Panera faces in 2024 is its sluggish digital sales growth, which has slowed to 2% year over year. Industry experts emphasize the importance of digital sales and delivery services, particularly in a post-pandemic era where convenience is king. Panera, once ahead of the curve in digital ordering, now finds itself eclipsed by competitors who offer more seamless app experiences and delivery options. Compounding this issue are mounting customer complaints about shrinking portions and declining food quality. Once a consumer favorite for sandwiches and salads that felt both fresh and filling, Panera's offerings now face scrutiny for delivering less while charging more. The brand's reputation for quality has taken a hit, and trust earned over decades is eroding. New menu items, such as its foray into pizza, failed to resonate with customers, further highlighting the chain's inability to adapt successfully. The numbers don't lie. Over 180 Panera Bread locations have closed since 2022, and further closures are expected. This wave of shutdowns signals much deeper issues with the chain's operational model. Compounding these challenges, competitors like Cava and Tender Greens are luring away Panera's core customer base of health and quality-conscious diners. These brands offer similar items but with a fresher perspective, better service, and higher quality experiences. For Panera Bread, recovery hinges on winning back customer trust and doubling down on core values of quality and innovation. If these efforts fail, more cafes could follow the 180 already closed, bringing Panera's legacy to an abrupt halt. 9. Domino's delivers, slipping profits and slower service. Domino's Pizza, once the industry leader in delivery innovation, is experiencing a steep decline in its ability to meet customer expectations. Known for years as the go-to pizza or pizza brand for speed and consistency, Domino's is now playing catch-up in a highly competitive delivery landscape. A major challenge is the 8–9% drop in delivery sales in 2024, driven largely by the rise of third-party delivery apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. Domino's refusal to fully integrate with these platforms has worked against it. Instead, customers have gravitated toward apps that give them access to a wide variety of restaurants, leaving Domino's delivery volumes falling year after year. Domino's operational struggles don't end with delivery platforms. Rising cheese costs, up 14%, and labor costs, up a loud 11%, have chipped away at already narrow profit margins. These soaring expenses come at a time when Domino's competitors are finding creative ways to keep costs down or pass the burden along to consumers more effectively. The inability to maintain operational efficiency has placed pressure on franchisees, many of whom are questioning the viability of their investment in the brand. Perhaps one of the most glaring issues is the chain's failure to deliver on its once famous promise of speed. Delivery times increased by 8 minutes on average, tarnishing Domino's reputation for reliability. These delays are not going unnoticed by customers, opening the door for competitors to step in and steal market share. The repercussions are already being felt. More than 200 Domino's locations closed globally in 2024, and projections suggest another 300 closures could follow by 2025. If Domino's doesn't address its operational inefficiencies, improve delivery speeds, or rethink its stance on third-party apps, the chain's position as a global pizza leader may soon be a thing of the past. 10. Shake Shack's premium price tag comes at a cost. Shake Shack, the upscale burger chain known for its sleek branding and premium ingredients, is facing a reality check in 2024. For years, the chain thrived by offering high-quality fast food at a higher price point. But now, in an environment of rising costs and economic uncertainties, customers are beginning to turn away. One key issue is premium pricing. With an average Shake Shack meal costing $16.95, price-conscious diners are balking. Even its core audience of young professionals and urban foodies are starting to think twice about spending so much on burgers and fries, especially when reliable, cheaper alternatives like Five Guys or Smashburger exist. Shake Shack's approach, once a competitive differentiator, is now a sticking point, pushing customers further toward competitors. The chain's financial performance is showing the cracks. Same-store sales fell by 7.8% in 2024, signaling growing resistance to its high price tags. Foot traffic also dipped by 1.3%, a small but critical loss for a brand that relies on high-turnover locations to sustain profitability. New stores in urban areas, once seen as opportunities for growth, are now becoming liabilities. Lower than expected foot traffic in these locations has placed additional pressure on the chain's profitability. Operational issues are also weighing Shake Shack down. Its investments in digital ordering and mobile pickup services, designed to woo busy urbanites, have backfired. Customers complain about glitches and delays, making these tech-driven services unreliable and frustrating. Rising ingredient costs, including beef, potatoes, and dairy, have further eaten into profit margins, which now sit at less than 4%. Despite a strong brand image and loyal following, Shake Shack finds itself at a crossroads. If prices remain steep and operational issues go unresolved, the chain's growth story could grind to a halt. Further closings and scaling back of operations may be inevitable as Shake Shack struggles to find a way forward. In conclusion, the challenges faced by these 10 famous restaurant chains highlight the rapidly changing dynamics of the food industry. Rising costs, shifting consumer preferences, and operational inefficiencies have forced these once thriving establishments to downsize or shutter entirely. While some may adapt and recover, Others serve as a reminder that even the most beloved brands must innovate and evolve to survive in an increasingly competitive market.